Hello, welcome to another Becoming a Modern Man. We are playing our Myth Realised Blue-White Control deck once again. This time we are playing against the Dredgevine deck. This is only a game one, unfortunately. Our opponent conceded after that, but it's quite a fun game. Goes quite long, and I feel like you get to see some of the best of Myth Realised in this matchup, so I figured it was a good one to show. So let's run with it. So this is our opener. It's obviously not the best, but I don't hate it. Obviously we've got some lands, we've got Spell Snare, we've got Jace, which can be a nice way to draw cards potentially. Also very good against aggro decks as well, just as a way of slowing things down. So I think I'm on the draw as well, so I don't really feel like throwing this away. Pull these off with an Overgrown Tomb and a Gravecrawler. So already suspect he's on Dredgevine. Attacks a 2, put me down to 18. That's his back to the turn. Set my planes. Probably could just played out my Hallowed Fountain there, tapped. Don't want to take too much damage because he is quite an aggressive deck. But given we're not likely to play Snapcaster or anything, I think we could have played a Hallowed Fountain tap there, but probably not going to make a great deal of difference given our current hand. I think it fetches a Stomping Grounds with his Wooded Foothills, attacks with his Gravecrawler, plays another Gravecrawler and the Bloodstained Mire. I'm going to run out of Hallowed Fountain tapped. Opponent fetches up a Blood Crypt, can attack me for 4. First class of Bloodghast, which I'm going to Spell Snare, mainly because I haven't really seen anything else to Spell Snare at this moment in time. But our opponent plays a land, so he's going to go able to get that Bloodghast back, so kind of a waste of a card, but Spell Snare not particularly good against this matchup, I don't think. There's not too many cards that are very good. Here I was going to play my Jace Architect of 4. I'm going to +1 it. It can go to 5, and then even if he activates the Muta Vault, he's still not actually able to just kill Jace, so I figured that was a good way to go and get the Jace down. Also got this path, so I feel like I can probably get some good use out of this Jace. Attacks all his guys at Jace, doesn't activate the Muta Vault though, so Jace down to 2. And then he plays a good old Gary Grave Troll. 0/0 because there's no creatures in his graveyard currently, but he's just doing it so he can start dredging. I draw Myth Realised, which I'm just going to run out. No reason not to really. And we've got our Cryptic here, which we might want to. Well, we still got Cryptic Mana, and we've got Snapcaster Path as well if that's what we want to do. So we'll see how our opponent plays. Opponent dredges up the Grave Troll, which throws a few things into his graveyard, including a Gnaw to the Bone, which is a nice way to extend his life. And goes to attack with everything, but I'm just going to Cryptic it. He should have really stopped on beginning of combat and then tried to pass, because if he thought I had Cryptic, I suppose he might not have seen the Cryptic coming, but that way you can actually activate Muta Vault after Cryptic taps down the guys and then getting the attack anyway. But wouldn't have made a ton of difference. I suppose it actually would have been fairly good if he managed to knock the Jace down to 1, but there you go. So +1 Jace again. We found Wall of Omens and another Myth Realised, so we're going to be able to protect this Jace pretty well, which is going to work out fairly nicely for me. The second Myth Realised first one, so we've now got a 2/2 here, which is not bad. Potentially a 3/3 if we use this path. Opponent's carrying on dredging, throws a Dredgevine into the graveyard, and uses Faithless Looting. Attacks with everything. But they are just a bunch of 1/1s with Jace +1ing. So I'm just going to block with my 2/2. You get the Bloodghast. We're going to block the Bloodghast because I wanted to kill the Bloodghast over the other creatures, because you can cast Gravecrawler out of the graveyard, and that means it counts towards Dredgevine's ability, which is if the second creature spell you cast, your Dredgevine comes back. So as Gravecrawler can be cast, I believe. Yeah, Gravecrawler cast. So I didn't want the Gravecrawlers to go into the graveyard if he could recast them, because that could lead to him getting all his Dredgevines back, and currently it doesn't look like he has. Bolt on the Wall of Omens gets rid of that, so not in the best of shape, but I mean, we still got Path and Snapcaster, so we could get rid of 2 of his guys, but we are a little worried by the Dredgevines. I just +1 Jace and pass. So we've got Snapcaster Cryptic as well if things get too scary, but while we're +1 in Jace, his guys are just 1/1, so it's not too scary. I think they all come at me, which is fine by me. Not too concerned. Going to keep these paths for more dangerous stuff, like this Golgari Grave Tor, which is now 4/4. End of turn, I put some law counters. Realised means I can maybe start picking off some of his creatures. I'll play his Faithless Looting, and I think he uses that to dredge a whole load of cards. Yeah, 37 cards in his graveyard. The majority of his deck in his graveyard now. I think all 4 Dredgevines, loads of Grave Crawlers, most if not all the Bloodghasts as well. So yeah, he's got a fairly sick graveyard, and soon we could be in a lot of trouble. Though if we can hold off, he does only have 8 cards in his library, so we may even be able to deck him. So that's pretty interesting. So attacks with everything. Jace does his thing. We've got double path, so again, not too scared by these. Gonna pass the Grave Troll and a Grave Crawler, and then the Bloodghast. Got Sphinx's Rev, which is nice, but didn't want to play it just there because there's a potential that our opponent can do something fairly sick this turn, so I want to keep up Snapcaster Cryptic. So yeah, our opponent finds a land which is going to get 4 Bloodghasts back, and because we're below 10 they're all going to have haste, so that is essentially very deadly. And then plays a Grave Troll, which is a 14/14. Again, pretty scary. And then a Grave Crawler, which bring back his 3 Dredgevines there. So I'm going to Snapcaster Cryptic, tap down all his guys from my Myth Realised. Obviously, we need another Cryptic, or a Supreme Verdict, I suppose, would do it, hopefully, depending on what he gets, I suppose. But yeah, ideally a Cryptic, so I'm going to use the Jace. I don't know if I should have started using the Jace earlier, but I just never wanted it to die. So yeah, reveal the top 3. Fortunately, a Cryptic is among those cards. Opponent misclicks while splitting the piles, but it doesn't really matter. The only one that's really relevant is getting this Cryptic into hand. Now I'm going to activate Myth Realised, which is attack opponent for 8, which halves his life total, which is nice. Cryptic on his turn, tapping down his guys again. So his formidable army is not doing a great deal, and now we're going to look to finish him off with the Myth Realised. Again, I'm going to use Jace to draw into something else. but we're just going to tap here for 7, 8, 9. Opponent uses Northbone, which is in his graveyard, to try and gain life to survive. I suppose it was a bit of a risk. I could have just held steady. I'm not entirely sure how much life he would have gained, and then we could have Snapcast the Cryptic again, but I suppose there is a risk there that I would have ended up dying to, because I'm not sure how much life he would have gained. Probably quite a lot. Even like 28 life or something like that. That would have been, yeah, fairly crazy amount. So I can't really afford for Northbone to resolve. So I decided to just go for the mana leak. Caps down 3 mana, and then I'm just going to use the second mana leak. I suppose I could have Snapcast the Cryptic instead. Just to hard counter that, but yeah, either way we actually managed to win through there, and we attack with our 9/9 Myth Realised and our 2/1 Snapcast the Mage. So yeah, worked out pretty well. Obviously tapping down all these guys with the Cryptic, and then being able to attack him with a very large Myth Realised worked out really nicely. So yeah, I thought you saw some of the best of Myth Realised in there in this matchup, and really sort of saved us really, because not really any other sort of finisher probably would have been able to get the job done as quickly as Myth Realised did here. So yeah, it worked out really nicely.